What's going up, guys? It's Genie the Great, and I'm back for another update video. So I just got back from Colorado, and I'm sorry about missing uploads. My dad has never had Wi-Fi at his house, so I just assumed he wouldn't have it this time. But of course, he got Wi-Fi without telling me, so I left my laptop here, left everything here, so I didn't upload anyway. I wish I would have known, so then I would have uploaded a couple videos while I was away. But anyways, I had a freaking blast. Although I didn't get any writing done, so I don't really have much to update you guys on. But I just wanted to talk about Colorado and tell you guys a little life story. So I did get a little teeny tiny bit of footage from Colorado, so here it is. I'm filming right now. At least I got my near-death experience on camera.
Wait till you see what we're gonna drive through today.
So that last clip, we were on this big ass mountain. It was me and my aunt, and I was like filming to try to get, some cool shots or something. And I'm like walking up to the very edge of this mountain, and it's just a freaking drop off. Like there's like a little part next to it, but it slants really steep, and then it just drops down. And you could tell how high up I was, but as soon as I got to that part, I'm like, oh, I'm filming, and like slipped my foot and almost fell, like like literally right at the edge, and I fell towards the edge, and oh my god, like I caught myself. I didn't fall on the ground or anything, but I tripped, and I looked back at my aunt, and she was just like but I definitely had a blast in Colorado. But I guess I'll get to the life story part. So as you can tell by the title, this is the time I got high in Colorado. And no, it did not happen this last week. This was 2012, I want to say, right before it got legalized. But I was 18, so yeah, like 2012, I think. But weed was still illegal in Colorado. But before going out there, I had talked to my cousin who I knew smoked, and I was like, hey man, let's kind of get some stuff, let's smoke together. And he was like, okay, yeah, we could do that. So we get together at my my aunt's house, I guess, and we're looking like there's a bunch of family there because we're all, you know, meeting up and having some family, like a family dinner or something. And we're just waiting for like a time when no one's around that we could really smoke. And it didn't really come. There was always people around. We felt kind of uneasy because not everyone in my family is like really good vibes about smoking. And we didn't want to piss anyone off, you know. So we were just kind of waiting and it never came. So at the last minute when my dad was like, "Okay, well, let's go back home, back to his house." My cousin was like, real quick, like, "Come on." So we went to his car and he like smooth as fuck, like grabbed it, handed it back. I grabbed the weed, put it in my pocket. Like it was like 2 seconds, real smooth. So he gave me like a little sack of weed. And then like right after that, got my dad's car and we drove home back to his house. And I could smell it in my pocket. I don't know how my dad couldn't, but I could. But we get back to his house, and my dad is like pretty old, so he takes naps often. And I think this was like the next day or something. I don't think I did this that day, but like the next day or something, my dad was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take a nap real quick." And I said, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna go for a walk because there's this trail behind my dad's neighborhood that we always go walking on." And he was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, have fun." So I don't even think I waited for him to go to sleep. I like grabbed the weed, had it in my pocket, grabbed my wallet, and like headed out his door. And then left his neighborhood. And on the edge, there's like a street you could go up to a gas station. Because I didn't have a lighter, I didn't have anything to smoke with. All I had was the weed. So I had to get that stuff. So I walk up, and this is where I know I was 18 because I had to buy this stuff. So, and I was like so happy. I'm like, oh, thank God I just turned 18. But I walk up to the gas station, and it's actually like we drove past it every single time we go to my dad's house, but it was actually a lot longer of a walk than I thought. But I walk up, and then I'm like standing in line at this gas station, waiting for the next person to pay, and I'm like looking at all their like papers and wraps and stuff, and I'm like, okay, because I was still fairly new to smoking, and I was like, I didn't roll a lot. Like I just had a little pipe that I would pack up, so I didn't really roll a lot. So I'm like, oh man, what's gonna be the easiest? You know, I'm not that good at rolling. So I'm like looking and looking, and I'm just like trying to make a decision real quick before the next person in front of me leaves. And then he left, and I was like, oh, those. And it was these blunt wraps, these empty blunt wraps. So they didn't have the, like, it wasn't like swishers that have the tobacco in it, but it had like a little plastic piece to pack with, and then just the empty wraps. So I thought that would be pretty easy because I didn't have to split them and empty them out. And they were already kind of rolled up, so I thought that would like make it easier to actually roll with. So I grab those, get the lighter, go. And now I'm walking back from the gas station, past my dad's house, past his neighborhood to the trail behind his house. And at no point did I ever check my phone like to see how long this was, but I remember thinking like I've been gone for a while already and I haven't even done anything. And but I don't know, like I feel like if I were to do this now, I would have a lot of anxiety about either getting caught or like sneaking around behind my dad's back or that I'm out too long. Like I would have been overthinking stuff so much, but for some reason at this time I guess I didn't have that much anxiety at that age. And so I just did it. Like I didn't even think about it. It was just like one step at a time. Okay, get the wraps. Okay, walk to the trail. Okay, find a place to roll up. So I'm at the trail and I start walking. And now I'm just looking for like kind of a secluded place to roll up and smoke. And like I said, weed was illegal at this time. I had no clue how open-minded Colorado was towards weed. I didn't know that it was about to be legal soon. I didn't even know it was medically legal there. So I thought it was just like Tennessee, like everyone must hate weed there. So I was really like sketched out. So I'm like walking down this trail. There's a few people, you know, passing because it's a nice day out. And then I find this like little, I can't even remember now if it's like a stump kind of pushed back in the trees or like a picnic table kind of pushed back in the trees. I think it was a stump though. I think there was like a tree stump pushed back behind some trees off the trail a little bit. So I was like, okay, good enough. So I go and sit down there and I get the wraps out. And like I said, I had never like really rolled up, maybe like one or two times, but never blunts. It was always joints. So I'm like, kind of like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And I just have this weed. I'm out here literally like 3 feet away from a trail where people are walking. So I'm like getting them out and I'm like trying to roll and I'm just having the hardest time because I don't have like anything to set this on. I'm like working on my knee. I'm inexperienced, never used blunt wraps before. And I'm just like, I remember like this is taking me a really long time, and at one point like I'd like fuck up the wrap, so I rip half the wrap off, and then I just have half a blunt wrap left, and I managed to roll with that. It was like, I remember this, it was only like that long, but it was also like really fat, and I just stuffed as much weed as I could into it and got it to like at least somewhat look like a blunt or like half a blunt, but it was like the best I could get. So I remember like doing that and then like smoking it like right there. So again, I'm like really sketched out because I think that I don't understand how liberal that state is towards marijuana. So, you know, these people, a lot of them, they may have been like kind of pissed off, but some of them would have like not even gave a shit. But I'm like smoking like low key, like trying to hide it, and people are walking by. When they walk by, I'm like palming it, trying to like be so, I don't know, like it was so freaking obvious. Like if I were to walk down a trail and see someone sitting on a stump like looking all suspicious, I would be like, that person is smoking weed. But anyways, I wasn't like as sketched out as I was kind of like trying to make it like I was chief in that, trying to make it go fast, you know, but I wasn't that sketched out. Like I've definitely been more sketched out to smoke before, but that I was just like chiefing it as fast as I could just to get it over with. But I still remember not being like that sketched out. So anyways, some time goes by, I chief that down, it's done, whatever. So I get up and I walk on the trail, and I don't want to go like straight back to my dad's house. So I want to walk on this trail because it's a beautiful trail through like Colorado, like fields and stuff like that. And so I'm just walking and I'm enjoying it. And so I get to this one point and it leads up. The trail is like in this field at this point, and it leads up to this real steep point, and I'm looking at it like it's on top of this really big ass hill, and it looks great. Like everything is good so far. So I'm walking up there and there's like prairie dogs around because it's kind of like a prairie, so there's just wild prairie dogs everywhere. But they're kind of like on the field, minding their own business. I can just see them jumping in and out of the holes. But I get to the top of this mountain, and this is like how like the high just set in so fast. And so I'm standing at, or it's like not a mountain, but it's a really large hill, and I'm standing at the top of it, and there's a storm like starting, and it doesn't storm that much in Colorado, but there's a storm happening. It's about to happen. Like you could see the weather is coming in, but I was so close to the clouds, or at least I felt like it because I was on this big ass hill, and the clouds are just dark and gray and just swirling. And I remember just like looking up, like, holy shit. Like just looking, and I thought it was the coolest looking thing I had ever seen. Just being like, I felt like I was that close to the clouds. I felt like I was that close, and they were just swirling and swirling, and I was just like looking up at them, like, oh my god. And like other people are walking around, but I'm just like, oh my god. And then I remember thinking briefly, oh, maybe I should go back home because it's about to storm. So like I'm enjoying this, and this is like, first off, Colorado weed is way better than any Tennessee weed. Like this shit is strong as fuck. Like I don't know that this is the highest I have ever been, but it was definitely like the best time I've ever had while high, and I'm just baked out of my mind. And I'm just like, but any other time I've been really, really baked, I've had anxiety and I've been stressed out or like anxious. But this wasn't like that whatsoever. Like I was just like appreciating everything around me, like the nature, the people, the weather, like the clouds, everything just felt so good. It was just like such good vibes. Like it was like not, it wasn't just like, okay, being high and walking on a trail. It was like a whole experience. Like I was so engrossed in nature and in the event. Like I wasn't even kind of like aware of myself. I was just like taken in by everything, and just like it was a whole experience, and it was amazing. And so it does occur to me, you know, I need to head home. I've been out here for a while. Again, I didn't check my time, didn't check my phone at all. But I'm like, I must have been out here for a long time because I had to go to the gas station, roll up, smoke up, and I walked the trail. So I'm like, he's like, I gotta go home. So I'm like walking down the trail, and all the fucking prairie dogs are right next to me, like on the edge of the trail, walking with me. It was crazy. Like walking down this big ass hill through this field, and there's just prairie dogs, wild prairie dogs walking with me. The coolest experience I've ever had. It was amazing. And I can't even explain it. It was just so cool that these like wild creatures I had never even seen before until that day were just walking with me, and they weren't like dangerous or anything, and I wasn't like kicking them or anything like that. Like, I don't know, I feel like now people in nature, when they see wildlife, all they want to do is like try to feed it or annoy it or take pictures of it. But I was just walking with the prairie dogs, and it was amazing. And then so I'm walking down the trail, going back home, and this fucking lady stops me and she goes, "Is your name China?" And I'm in the middle of a state where I literally know nobody except for my family, and this woman is definitely not my family. And I'm baked out of my fucking mind. Like, I am so high. And she goes, "Is your name China?" And I was like in my head, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, some super paranoid shit. Like, I was like, I'm literally in a state where I know nobody, and this person knows my name. And I was just like in my head, I was like thinking about like, I don't know, like people are like following me, or government like hacking stuff, like all this paranoid shit. Cause she asked my name. But like in life, I was just like, yeah, my name's China. And then she goes, "Oh, I think your dad is looking for you." And I was like, "Okay." I think I said that. I was like, "Okay," and kept walking. Like, I wonder what I looked like to her, because my eyes were probably red as fuck, dude. I probably smelled. And I was obviously like very freaked out. Because I was so high, I just couldn't understand what was going on. And in my head, I was freaking out, but I think I was just like, "Okay," and kept walking. She probably thought I was insane. But what I realized had probably happened was my dad was like, "Well, she's still not home. Let me go look for her." And then met up with that lady and asked if she had seen me. And then when she passed me, she probably just knew it was me. So that's probably what happened. But I didn't realize until going back this last week, my dad and I walked on that trail, and we ran into his neighbor. So I've met a few of his neighbors over the years, and there's this one woman where I've only met a couple times, so I couldn't recognize her face if I tried to. Now I probably could, but it dawned on me like 4 years later or 5 years later, when I'm walking with my dad last week and we ran into his neighbor on the trail, that was the lady that had asked me if my name was China. And I was like, oh my fucking god, like that's her. And I had seen her earlier that week at her house, and I didn't put two and two together. It wasn't until I saw her on the trail that I was like, oh shit, like that's her. So what had probably happened was my dad saw that his neighbor was about to go run on the trail and was like, "Hey, if you see my daughter, tell me, or tell her to come home," or something like that. So that's probably what happened. But yeah, anyways, it definitely freaked me out. I was like, what the fuck? So I don't even fucking know like what happened after that. I think I got home and my dad was like, "Oh, did you run into so and so?" And I think I said, "Yeah, I saw her," or something like that. But I literally have no clue what happened after that. Like, I don't know if I just don't remember because it's been so long ago, or because like I was that high, but I don't remember what happened after that. I know I didn't get caught and I made it home okay without the storm crashing on me. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I know it's been a lot of talking and a long video, but that was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. And it just goes to show like how good weed is. Like, it's so stigmatized, but I was so like, you hear people say they're one with nature when they're like tripping or when they're stoned or something, but I was really like one with my environment, like just appreciating every little thing and just feeling so in the world, like so a part of the world. It was one of the best experiences of my life. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. So unfortunately, I didn't get to smoke anything this last trip to Colorado, but I'm glad I had that story. And oh yeah, so like I said, my dad and I walked on that trail last week. So I think I calculated it. It was like at least half an hour to walk to the gas station and back. Probably another half hour to roll up and smoke, at least. And then the trail was like, probably like 40 minutes there and back or more. So this whole thing is over an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. Like, no wonder my dad was looking for me. But at no time while I was doing this did it occur to me like to check the time or anything like that. But I'm so glad I did that. Like, I don't know if I would have the balls to do that now. But at the time, I don't know why I wasn't scared to do it, but it was one of the best decisions I ever made and one of the best times I've ever had in Colorado, and I'm so glad I did it. But yeah, I'll see you guys for the next video. I just wanted to share that with you guys and, I don't know, kind of entertain you guys a little bit because I don't really have much to update you guys about writing. But I'm going to get back to the swing of things this week and I'll update you guys next Monday. So, stay motivated, stay inspired, and stay happy. See ya.
What the hell are you taking pictures of now?
I'm just taking pictures of the road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you keep talking.
And he says, yeah, I don't know, that could be, but you quit an awfully long time ago. And he was quizzing me about marijuana.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not going to lie to you. I said, any more than I would lie to you about the cigarettes. I said, I have in my lifetime smoked a marijuana cigarette. I know what it's like to cop a buzz off a joint and get high and stuff like that. But I go,